Kendrashore said
Message from
07
Hans V.
commanders.
Valdam.
I
Hopes that
intercepted
didn't
an
he get
emergency
stuck in the
call,
mail slot
emergency
grid.
call. Gravlegs said what is it?
Friend Prochaska is online. Message from DLLJS. I heard an explosion. Message from Hans V. Valdam. BTW. Lexi, how are you feeling? Any memory regained? Message from Prochaska. Hi.
Gravlegs said that's good.
Message from Hans V. Valdam. Hi Zoe, nice to see you. Message from Prochaska. Nice to see you, too, Hans. Message from DLLJS. I am alright, but not a lot of luck on that front.
DLLJS said.
Message from Graflex. Hi Zoe. Message from DLLJS, although there may be some method.
Even with its flaws, I haven't been anywhere else this Twilight Zone. Nowhere else compares.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said hopefully so, yes.
Message from Prochaska.
Where should we head?
Hi,
I just
Graflex.
need to switch to a faster ship. Hans V. Voldampf said good evening fellow CMDRs, good to be away from that abysmal in-game chat.
I haven't been this tired in ages.
Actually, just one good night's sleep. At this stage, that's all I want.
Just getting out of my bunk in the mornings feels almost impossible.
Ugh.
DLLJS replied to Kendrashore home.
Message from Prochaska. Didn't T. Kendra want to
Hans
show
V.
up?
Voldampf said HM. Can't switch to Galaxy Mac from here.
Message from Graflex.
Kendrashore said of course you can. Gravlex said you can. Hans V. Voldampf said then I must be missing a keybind. SRY. Gravlex said there's SWIA system 9.58 lie away.
Ages.
Come to think about it, it's gotten so bad I'm considering cryosleep. But then I'd have to readapt afterwards.
Yeah.
DLLJS replied to Gravlex doesn't have a Planet 10B. Gravlex said Newkunda. Gravlex said 9.22 lie. DLLJS replied to Gravlex yep, that has a 10B. Kendrashore said could be possible. Gravlex said indeed.
Yeah.
Kendrashore said where is Sia? Gravlex said on the way probably. She did mention about changing ships. Eradis, Sephirodon, said Pad 9.
This port is some way off my usual route. Better have been worth it.
I actually picked up my last shift from here. Scored one hell of a bargain.
Uh-huh. If you aren't too fussy about the type of work you're after, there's some decent options here.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said oh, sorry. I'm running a little behind. I just need to hop into pirouette or wave dancer or something that moves. DLLJS said Apex. Hans V. Voldampf said alright, are there any other possible systems? Prochaska said how far are you out, Seth? Kendrashore said I suggest we try to grab this data and try to learn more. Eradis, Sephirodon, said I'm at Diagwandri, not sure how far that is, just a sec. Eradis, Sephirodon, said absolutely. Need to get that chip before Aurelia's people do. Hans V. Voldampf said, what about the pilot?
Travel. What do you
Will
think
it
of
be
this
a
so
combined
far?
salvage/rescue mission?
But there's something about
Gravlex said there's a Col 285 sector,
Yeah,
but it has no planetary
for
bodies.
sure. But this one, I wouldn't mind choosing as my home base.
It's the nicest port I've seen in a fair while. Certainly on this side of the galaxy.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said I'm all for rescuing if there's a pilot there to be rescued, certainly. Kendrashore said if he is still alive, of course we will try to rescue him. Prokaska said I think we should check Nukunda first. Gravlex said, is this pilot one of Aurelia's people? Hans V. Voldampf said, remember we don't know who his loyalty belongs to. Kendrashore said I think so. Gravlex said, well then, I might argue about rescuing him then. Eradis, Sephirodon, said true enough. So I'll let the people with guns go first. Gravlex said, but we do need to get the chip before they recover it. Hans V. Voldampf said we might get him to answer a few questions though. Prokaska said we can always chat with him, might be interesting either way. Gravlex said agreed.
I am absolutely beat. I haven't been able to sleep at all.
Might be the gravity. I find it difficult to rest when it's not precisely Earth standard.
You know what? No matter what I do, I just can't get a solid 6.
Felt
Eradis,
much better since I left
Sephirodon,
my old
said
place.
I'm on the way.
Maybe it's the change of scenery.
Yeah.
Hans V. Voldampf said the option to be stranded there forever might be a good starting position for a conversation.
This is easily the hardest job I've ever had.
Gravlex said agreed.
This job just doesn't leave me any time for myself.
You're lucky. You didn't pull 3 back-to-back shifts in the last 7 days.
Indeed. Constant strain of it. I don't know how much more I can put up with.
Gravlex said, how far out are you, Seth?
It's so long since I went home. Can't wait to go back again.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said sounds like reasonable incentive, yes. Should I go, for Nukunda or to tease in GU? About 4 jumps. Hans V. Voldampf said should we not redirect her to the target system? Might speed up proceedings. DLLJS said sure. Gravlex said yes, I was going to propose we meet at orbit of the target moon. Hans V. Voldampf said oh by the way. Assuming we have the right system. How do we find the guy? Gravlex said we will have to scan the moon and hope we locate the distress signal. Eradis, Sephirodon, said ever heard of Beige Patrol? Hans V. Voldampf said no. Prokaska said no. Gravlex said we know they were downed at 10B.
Really? I need someone to pick up some of your shit while you're gone. I could do with this.
Is that a point?
Eradis, Sephirodon, said it's an old reference from cannon scouring over the surface of barren, usually beigeish, planets. Hopefully there will be a little something more to see from orbit. Eradis, Sephirodon, said always. Gravlex said I think I do, yes. Prokaska said science talk. Never did that. Gravlex said I should check though, be right back.
I haven't felt this tired in forever.
I see your point.
Constant strain of it. I don't know how much more I can put up with.
Yeah.
Prokaska said I think I have a surface scanner. Hans V. Voldampf said okay, one will do smiley face. Kendrashore said Grav where do you go? Prokaska said checking for the surface scanner, I think. Gravlex said indeed. Kendrashore said I have one installed. Hans V. Voldampf said perfect, so we're good in any case. Gravlex said well that's good because I swapped mine apparently. Eradis, Sephirodon, said my always was in reference to having a DSS installed. Never leave home without it. Kendrashore said 2 SRVs, missile rack, ready for ground. DLLJS said what types? Kendrashore said both. DLLJS said nice. Gravlex said shall we set out? Kendrashore said Seph. Eradis, Sephirodon, said I just have a scarab here. Haven't. Prokaska said I'm RFA. DLLJS said yeah, someone's waiting for us. Gravlex said Seph was going to meet us at the planet No. Eradis, Sephirodon, said did I go to the wrong system? Hans V. Voldampf said Nukunda 10B. Kendrashore said I have 2 team slots free. Gravlex said, you are in solo Seph.
We built machines which can travel faster than light, but we still can't outrun our violent tendencies.
My advice? It's always worth taking a few bounties, just to keep your skills sharp.
Sooner or later you get dealt a bad hand. All you can do is be ready.
Prokaska said Kendra, invite me, please. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, oh, rot. I forgot. I'll be RB. Hans V. Voldampf replied to Kendrashore gimme an invite PLS when we are on board our ships. May not be able to accept it now. Kendrashore said Lexi to the Eva Angelium. DLLJS said okay.
Message from DLLJS. Commander DLLJS saluted at Commander LT. Kendra Shah.
If you ever want to help the good guys get even.
Commander Prochaska has joined the wing.
Hans V. Voldampf said alright, let's go then.
Welcome aboard, Commander. Boarding ship.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said, was just hauling and didn't have any reason to use any other mode earlier. Then didn't even think about it.
Departing station Nelson Port.
Ship detach complete. Must run oncoming traffic when passing through the airlock.
Gear up, Commander. Out of mass lock.
Flight assist on.
Charging FSD. Welcome to System Window. Red main sequence and start. Hold on tight. Arrived at Nukanda. Third visit. Jump distance 9.2 light
Eradis,
years.
Sephiroth,
System
said
controlled
HN.
by OpenPilot S
Taking a bit
initiative
to
and
get
state
back to the
expansion.
login menu.
Cooldown complete. Total of 1 star and 11 planets in this system. Target lost. Pilot is Commander Jintosh, expert in a Fer-de-Lance. Score
Eradis,
0.7
Sephiroth,
tons,
said
tank
there we
full.
go.
Shield 100, percenter hull at 100, percenter.
Gravlex said need to scan the nav beacon first. Eradis, Sephiroth, said I'm
Alert
really geared
detection
up.
underway.
Gravlex said guys.
Human Commander. Interdiction by expert Commander Jintosh.
Gravlex said I have signal on my scanner.
Normal Space Commander. Arrived at Star Nukanda.
Jintosh. Said Kendrai. I'm not here to
Weapons
hurt you,
away.
but please, stop interfering. Our mission is important and will save lives, but what you are doing is making lives be lost. Turn off your bugs and...
Fire Group A selected. Deploying weapons. FSD ready.
Gravlex said Jintosh, stand down.
Danger no shields. Run. In silent running. Fire Group C selected. Lost target.
Eradis, Sephiroth, said oh my. Jintosh, you're please, I don't think you understand the situation fully.
It's hot in here. Watch out.
Eradis, Sephiroth, said, can I get a team
detected.
invite now, please? Jintosh. Said you have to leave, now. Kendrashor said Jin, you are wrong, manipulated.
Shields operational. Commander.
Gravlex said Jintosh, listen to Kendrai. Kendrashor said we will proceed.
Retracting hard points. Target lost. Prepare for pursuit of Bruce. Frame shift drive engaged.
Jintosh. Said is that why you are bugging us? Sending settlements the details that get them killed. Prokaska said what are you talking about, Jin? Eradis, Sephirodon, said Jintosh, we haven't sent anyone any details, other than Sharon. Oh. Did I mention that to everyone? Really didn't have the time, it was just yesterday. Hans V. Voldampf said I'm at 10B but don't see anything. Or anyone. Gravlex said you did what? Eradis, Sephirodon, said I'm here too, and I also don't see any sign of anyone. Jintosh said every time we've gone to a place, they've been waiting for us. Kendra is the only one who could have talks. Eradis, Sephirodon, said there are reasons it's something we can discuss later. Clearly not the time.
Commander
Prokaska
Hans
said you sure about that,
Voldampf
Jin?
has joined the wing.
Gravlex said clearly. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, invite.
Alert interdiction underway.
Prokaska said Jin gets annoying.
Human commander. Interdiction by expert commander Jintosh. Lost target. Exiting Super Cruise. Arrived at Planet 10. Deploying hard
Hans V.
points.
Voldampf said own.
Fire Group B selected.
Jintosh said one last try, leave. I will not shoot you my miss, but leave.
FSD ready.
Kendra Shaw said Jin stop now. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, peaced. Anyone? OLC. Invite so to instance. Kendra Shaw said surrender. Gravlex said hell, since when low wakes require scanning. Eradis, Sephirodon, said Jin, no one wants or needs to shoot anyone here. Let's just work this out.
Message from
Gravlex said, I can't drop on the low wake for whatever reason.
What are you doing? Friend Cassandra Sarah is online. Target lost. Retracting weapons. FSD charging. Message from Hans V. Voldamp. She is away.
Prokaska said it's fine already, Jin just left. Gravlegs said to
All
where?
engines on. Deploying weapons.
Gravlegs said does that mean resurrection is nearby? Hans V. Voldamp said no worries, she jumped out. WTF is going on here? Gravlegs said you can't come all the way here with a FDL. Prokaska said I thought she low-waked. Hard to tell from the back seat.
Pilot is Commander Gravlex, deadly, in Amamba.
Gravlegs said no, she
Pilot
didn't
is
low-wake.
Commander Safiridin,
And yes.
competent, in an
Hans V.
Imperial
Voldamp
courier.
said Kendra, you okay?
Ship is clean. Target lost.
Prokaska said we are fine. Kendra Shaw said I'm okay. Lexi. DLLJS said all good. Hans V. Voldamp said did Jin fire at you? Did not see her weapons out. DLLJS said apart from your ship being wonky and not letting me fire the missiles. Eradis, Sephirodin, said what? Fire the missiles. Kendra Shaw said she round me only. Kendra Shaw said there is a crash site. Hans V. Voldamp said not a great idea in an FDL smiley face. Gravlegs said I'll follow you.
Body 10.
Eradis,
Beacon range
Sephirodin,
commander.
said the distress beacon. Kendra Shaw said a crash site Fred 1. Eradis,
Lost target.
Sephirodin, said HN.
More
Not seeing
engines
that.
off. Impulse engaged. Arrived at Planet 10, B. Leaving Wing Commander.
Gravlegs said Seph follow my wing signal. Eradis, Sephirodin, said I.
Detected 6 signals.
Gravlex
Weapons
said,
away.
RIP.
Out of
Hans
wing.
V. Voldampf said dropped out of the team. Prokaska said, got disconnected. Prokaska said colored snakes again.
Invited to wing by
Eradis,
Graflex.
Sephirodon, said is that some kind of message from the sim archive? Hans V. Voldampf said oh damned. Game was pretty unstable the
Join
last
wing
days.
with Commander. Commander Graflex has joined the wing. Commander Sephirodon has joined the wing.
Gravlex said I don't see the signal. Hans V. Voldampf said still connected but no one and nothing in sight, man shrugging.
Message from Graflex. Invite others ILL leave.
Prokaska said re-entering. Eradis, Sephirodon, said hopping back to SC.
Ship is clean.
It seems the HUD doesn't tell you when a wing signal is obscured by the planet.
Voldampf has joined the wing.
Hans V. Voldampf said thanks smiley face.
Commander DLLJS has joined the wing. Lost target.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said okay, who should I attempt to fly to? Gravlex said just follow Kendrai. Kendrashore said Razorback, really? My gunship is called Bobby D. Hans V. Voldampf said yeah, Kendra.
In mass lock.
Kendrashore said Jin is now flying AFDL, scary. Gravlex said well, she is no Sharon.
Gear down.
Landing gear deployed.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said can't seem to follow or go to. No visuals. You're in the contact list, on the radar, but that's sketchy around the planet. Eradis, Sephirodon, said I target you, and there's nothing. No target indicator. Gravlex said, relook maybe.
Landing successful, Commander, at latitude -34.95, longitude -12.78. Prepare for surface operations. Launch surface recon vehicle with default loadout.
Gravlex said no one alive here. Eradis, Sephirodon, said okay, I see hands now. Gravlex said nobody either. Prokaska said I'm in Nukunda again, heading to 10B. Could anyone invite me? Kendrashore said scanning ship's data core.
Fire Group B selected. Switching to Fire Group A. Switching to Fire Group A. Fire Group B selected.
Gravlex said I didn't see a data core in any of the container. Eradis, Sephirodon, said kind of frosty here. Gravlex said sorry I meant memory chip.
Message from Sephirodon. Commander Sephirodon saluted.
Gravlex said creepy outfit. Kendrashor said data core deleted. Not good. Eradis, Sephirodon, said sorry. I was in a hurry. I still had this on the Maverick suit from the holiday. Gravlex said I think we might be late. Hans V. Voldampf said Seth, you are looking somehow, strange smiley face. Eradis, Sephirodon, said
Boarding
Danger.
SRV.
Jin must have just been
Stone
heading
tool.
out. But if so, why even bother trying to warn us off? Gravlex said Zoe, where are you? Eradis, Sephirodon, said I told you it was cold.
Confirmed.
Prokaska
Commander.
said in orbit of
Switch
10B.
suit to Maverick suit class 3. Loadout Bergam 2. Handbrake engaged. Disembarked from SRV to planet Nukan.10B.
Warning. Dangerously low temperature detected.
Manticore Tormentor selected commander. Karma AR-50 selected commander. Tool Energy Link deployed commander. Tool Profile Analyzer deployed. Arc Cutter selected commander. Weapon Manticore Tormentor deployed. Tool Arc Cutter deployed. Manticore Tormentor selected commander. Karma AR-50 selected.
Gravlex said did you
Weapon
find the chip
Manticore
Kendra?
Tormentor deployed commander. Weapon Karma AR-50 deployed commander. Manticore Tormentor selected. Collected compact library. Tool Arc Cutter deployed commander. Collected compact library. Collected Insight Entertainment Suite. Picked up Insight Entertainment Suite. Weapon Manticore
Hans V.
Tormentor
Voldampf
deployed
said nothing
commander.
useful here I'm afraid. Also no surviving pilot. Eradis, Sephirodon, said home. Compact libraries a couple entertainment suites. Gravlex said Jin extracted him and the chip maybe.
Grabbed compact library. Picked up Insight Entertainment Suite. Grabbed health monitor. Selected Karma AR-50. Picked up Insight. Collected
Eradis,
compact library.
Sephirodon, said health monitors.
Grabbed compact library. Stowed weapon. Welcome
Hans
aboard,
V.
Commander.
Voldamp said is there a
Boarding
crew seat in
SRV.
an FDL? Gravlex said yes there is.
Target unmanned, Commander Hans V. Voldamp.
Hans
Ship
V.
is
Voldamp
clean.
said game just died on me.
Lost target.
Gravlex said same. Eradis, Sephirodon, said oh my. Still connected so far. Knocks on wood. Prokaska said just arrived.
Left ship. Deploying weapons. Switch to turret. Scan data link. Alert. All data point telemetry links established. Intel package created. Collected 3 items of material adaptive encryptors capture. Collected 3 items of material atypical encryption archives. Message from DLLJS. Commander DLLJS pointed at material, optical fiber. Message from DLLJS. Commander DLLJS pointed at material, microelectrode.
Prokaska said what
Message
are you
from
pointing at,
DLLJS.
Lexi?
Commander DLLJS pointed at material, motor. Ship dismissed.
DLLJS said loot. DLLJS said you sure you don't need it? Kendra Shaw said data core scanned. Data encrypted. Eradis, Sephirodon, said oh, you found it. Gravlex said well that's fine, we are not bad at decapitating stuff.
Friend Hans V. Voldamp is
Prokaska said
online.
I'm fine, thanks. Gravlex said Lexi, what the hell? Kendrashor said, so nothing more to do here. Hans V. Voldampf said, I'm back. Gravlex said, that's not how you break locks.
Disembarked from SRV to planet Mukunda-10B.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said, I don't know. You found the thing. DLLJS said, I wasn't expecting that. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, is this thing on?
Welcome aboard, Commander. Boarding SRV.
Gravlex said, so to recap, we have found nothing. Jin is still brainwashed and possibly in possession of the memory chip. Prokaska said, shall we find and interdict Jin for a change? Smiley face. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, so the memory core scan was not what we really wanted. Gravlex said, I don't have an interdictor
Break
myself.
engaged. Disembarked from SRV to planet Mukunda-10B.
Warning. Dangerously low temperature detected.
Gravlex said, no, weren't we looking for a memory chip? Hans V. Voldampf said, I have one. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, nor do I, of course. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, I mean, they both hold data. I don't know. Hans V. Voldampf said, never leave home without, well, you know. Gravlex said, well, kind of. Eradis, Sephirodon, said I. Kendrashor said, what did Jin mean with blame all the deaf people to us? Prokaska said, we know, we know. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, it sounds like there's another party. Gravlex said, she is just being manipulated, I think. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, though it may just be Aurelia. Hans V. Voldampf said, what did C mean interdicting Kendra? Prokaska said, she wanted to stop us from going here. Prokaska said, well, that is what she said, at least. Gravlex said, did you warn any settlements? Prokaska said, yeah, that too. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, it sounds like they've been finding these pilots dead and think we're the ones responsible. Somehow. DLLJS said, is this another clear our name sorta thing /? Eradis, Sephirodon, said, I haven't warned any settlements. What would I warn them of? Hans V. Voldampf replied to Prokaska, makes no sense whatsoever, there's nothing here. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, and if the chips or artifacts or whatever are still there and they are picking them up, how could it be us? We'd definitely have taken the goodies. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, and probably not killed anyone. DLLJS said, wait, if the data core's not there then. Gravlex said, Jin and Sharon have been going after Theon's parts in settlements. No. I think she believes we are turning the settlements hostile to them, while they are probably just committing crimes. Prokaska said, there is a pink troll in the sky. DLLJS said. Gravlex said, oh look who turned up. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, oh. DLLJS said, asterisk asterisk, it's a trap, asterisk asterisk.
Selected Manticore Tormentor Commander. Weapon Karma AR-50 deployed.
Gravlex said, everyone take cover. Jintosh said, am I shooting at you? Gravlex said, Kendra, hold your fire, what the hell? Kendra Shaw said, stop auntie. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, hey, don't shoot each other. Gravlex said, Jin, no sudden movements. Jintosh said, that is what I am here to tell you. Jintosh said, you must leave. Now. No more interference is to be tolerated. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, interference with what? We're not doing anything like that. Prokaska said, what happens if we don't follow your advice? Gravlex said, well, you are free not to. Eradis, Sephirodon, said you're going on about warning settlements. We don't know anything of it.
Stowed weapon.
Gravlex said yes, we have no idea what the hell you are talking about. Jintosh said there is nothing here, someone else got to it first, but when our next target is found, we must be allowed to find it in peace. Kendrashore said where is Sharon? DLLJS said who? Hans V. Voldampf said Jin. WTF. Eradis, Sephirodon, said you're not even working for the Guardian Net, Jintosh. Do you realize that? You're being duped by Aurelia Davidson. Jintosh said she is back in Irola, your actions here caused problems. Gravlex said if you are encountering any resistance during your missions, it is clearly because you are stealing parts. Kendrashore said, wait. Problems. Jintosh said Aurelia knows what is happening, and is our voice right now. Hans V. Voldampf said yeah, as I thought. Kendrashore said your voice. Eradis, Sephirodon, said she's not your voice. She's your puppeteer. She works for someone else. Jintosh said Gravlex, a settlement that knows we are coming before we get there. No, that is not our doing. Gravlex said you do know your voice is undermining Sharon's faction actively. Hans V. Voldampf said, and is going to dispose of her. Kendrashore said Jin don't kidding me. Aurelia is a traitor. Jintosh said no, she isn't, she is doing the right thing, and Sharon knows this. As for you Kendra, how can I trust you after you sabotaged Declan? Kendrashore said did you ever heard the song of the AI network? DLLJS said song. Eradis, Sephirodon, said honestly, Jintosh, we don't know enough to get ahead of you. There's no way we're warning anyone of your presence. Finding you here was as big a surprise to us as you. Jintosh said Song. My nights are silent, only filled with the sound of Sharon's breath. Gravlex said Jin, have you forgotten all the good Kendra has done after she sabotaged Declan? Hans V. Voldamp said Jin. Find your senses. Sharon is in deadly danger, as are you. You must see this. Kendra Shaw said you are not connected. Jin, it's fake. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, a part of me just had the urge to ask, does she need an inhaler? But I'm not. Totally OOC. Sorry. Jintosh said, and how would you know Kendra? You've not seen the network in its glory. Jintosh said enough, you will not listen and I am taught of talking. Eradis, Sephirodon, said Kendra is telling the truth. Aurelia means to eliminate you both just as soon as she has no further use for you. She's you remember the Zarera and how that ended. Gravlex said we can't let her go like that. Kendra Shaw said oh auntie, I am bound to another 8. Eradis, Sephirodon, said.
Boarding SRV. Switch to turret. Pilot is Commander Hans V. Voldamp. The lead
Eradis,
in a
Sephirodon, said Jintosh, please.
Shield
That's not talking.
99.3%.
You're not acting
Hull
rationally.
100%er.
Check record.
Lost target.
Kendra Shaw said Jin, wait.
Handbrake is on.
Handbrake disengaged. Under ship. Ready for retrieval. Handbrake on.
Gravlex said she high-waved.
Switch to turret. Switch to cap.
Check record.
Hans V. Voldamp said yep.
Switch to turret.
Gravlex said, damn, why didn't I bring a wake scanner?
Commander DLLJS has joined the wing. Switch to cap.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said I left mine off too. Hans V. Voldampf said perhaps I should have taken her down. But I just can't do it. Gravlex said resurrection must be close. Gravlex said I wanted to shoot her FSD but couldn't. Prokaska said she went to call 285 sector IQN 36-2. Gravlex said really? Prokaska said just scanned her
Pilot
way.
Unmanned Commander DLLJS, competent, in a ASP Explorer.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said shooting her down. I don't know if that would help. Let's just hope that Sharon listens.
Under ship, ready for retrieval.
Ship recalled.
Switch to turret.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said didn't she mention Sharon being in Irula? Gravlex said she is not here, just
Switch to
arrived
cap.
at the system. Gravlex said she must have waked again.
Lost target.
Ship recalled.
Kendrashor said have you found the resurrection? Gravlex said no, I have no idea where could it be. Gravlex said must be close though, can't jump far with that FDL.
Under ship, ready for retrieval.
Hans V. Voldampf said Pegasi sector WV.AA 15-0. Gravlex said okay, let's go and check I guess.
Entering mothership. Mass lock, FSD not available. Liftoff from planet.
Hans V. Voldampf said no trace of her at the carrier. Hans V. Voldampf said oh wait, found her. Hans V. Voldampf said docked on the FC.
Comply.
Prokaska said coming to you, Hans.
Landing gear ready.
Retracted gear. Out of mass lock. Main engine charging.
Frameshift drive.
FSD charging.
Hans V. Voldampf said in the hangar. I'm docking too.
Prepare for a super cruise.
Gravlex
Frameshift
said
drive
Hans,
engaged.
I'm not sure that's a good idea. Hans V. Voldampf said Nora my smiley face. Gravlex said just be careful
Be
not to get
commander.
brainwashed. Hans V. Voldampf said but not gonna let the carrier escape. Eradis, Sephirodon, said yes, please don't get hooked into Aurelia's brainlink. Gravlex said I have my carrier in T's in GU. Prokaska said how are you going to stop it? Gravlex said we can follow them. Hans V. Voldampf said I'll stay on board my ship. Doors firmly locked and alarms active.
Lost target. Main engine charging. Prepare for hyperspace to system Pegasi sector. A15-0. Methane dwarf star. Non-scoopable. Hold on tight. Arrived in Pegasi sector. W5-A. A15-0. First visit. Jump distance 8.7 light years.
Hans V. Voldampf said carrier has no flight plan set.
Total of 1
Take
star
your
and
time
6
face with
planets
stuck
in
up
this
tongue and
system.
winking eye.
Discovered resurrection. Hub K6L60Z. Exiting Super Cruise. Arrived at Star Pegasi sector. W5-A. A15-0. In mass lock.
Hans V. Voldampf said Grav, retract your weapons. Can't shoot at a carrier. Eradis, Sephirodon, said now what? Prokaska said same question here, now what? Kendrashor said Jin, please talk to me. Gravlex said it just looks more intimidating. Prokaska said you just got a point there. Eradis, Sephirodon, said we're trying for
Retracted
diplomatic.
gear.
Aren't we?
In-wing commander.
Prokaska said diplomatic weapons. Gravlex said nothing wrong with aggressive negotiations.
Gear up
Jintosh
commander.
said if I
In-wing
talk, will
commander.
you listen? So far I think not. Eradis, Sephirodon, said Jintosh it must be two ways. You listen, we listen. Gravlex said like you listened to us. Hans V. Voldampf said good old gunboat diplomacy. Always works smiley face. Gravlex said you have threatened us, thrown empty accusations and what else Jin?
Deploy gear. Out of wing.
Jintosh said threatened.
Gear up commander.
No, I have only said to
In-wing
leave us
commander.
alone.
Landing gear down. Out of wing. Retracted gear. In-wing commander.
Gravlex said no more interference is
down,
to be
commander.
tolerated.
Out of wing.
Hans V. Voldampf said not gonna happen. We are not in the habit of leaving friends alone.
Landing gear up. In-wing commander. Gear down. Out of wing.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said okay, maybe ramming Kendra was an accident. They do happen. But there's still these
Landing
wild
gear up.
accusations.
In-wing
What
commander.
proof do you have? And yes, the not be tolerated does. Gravlex said what will Aurelia do, send another pirate army after us again like in that medical installation.
I'm sorry, Commander. Permission has been denied.
Jintosh said, well, for now it is time for you to leave. Hans V. Voldampf said, I don't think so. Eradis, Sephirodon, said Jin, that's not listening. And you didn't say anything either. Prokaska said, now that was a really long conversation, Jin. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, go away is not a
Deploy
discussion.
gear. Out of wing. Retracted gear. In wing commander. Deploy gear. Out of wing.
DLLJS said, oh. Eichmann T dock at the carrier.
Landing gear up. In wing commander. Landing gear down. Out of wing.
DLLJS said, and it set a flight path. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, I'm sure they've locked down the security by now.
Gear up commander.
Gravlex said, carrier is
In
headed
wing
for
commander.
Irola. Jintosh said, Aurelia is being patient, as am I. We have our mission and need to complete this to save large numbers of people. Yet, whenever we try, obstacles are in the way, and you are to ones. Kendra Shaw said, what happened? I'm not able to overwrite it.
Friendship charge detected.
Hans V. Voldampf said, Jin, come to reason. See who your friends are, and who is the enemy. Look, Grav and myself could easily have blown you to space dust moments ago. Don't you think sitting in an Gravlex said save large numbers of people? Are you sure? All you have done so far is kill people, no? Eradis, Sephirodon, said that's not proof of anything. And why can't you consider that Aurelia may not be the ally you believe her to be? And I do have proof. Sent it to Sharon, actually. Jintosh said, yes, you are my friends, which is why I have never shot at you. I did not mean the bump on Kendra tonight. Gravlex said, okay, so you do have some sense left in you. Jintosh said, but, right now you are doing everything to stop us, and that is wrong. Prokaska said, so you were just still learning to fly the FDL, yes. Kendra Shaw said, Jin, you are at Aurelia's side. You will give her the weapon to kill thousands. Jintosh said, I came out too close to Kendra with FA off. Gravlex said, you are being used by her, she plans to dispose you and Sharon. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, wrong. Maybe what you are doing is wrong. Killing people at those installations. You made the news, you know. Jintosh said, and why were they ready for us? Why did they start shooting before we even had our shields on? Gravlex said, Jin, does Sigma 19 ring a bell? Eradis, Sephirodon, said we don't know. Maybe Aurelia tipped them off. She did mention something about wanting to pin blame on you in one of her last transmissions, I believe. Hans V. Voldampf said no idea Jin, but how could we know where you were going to hit? No way. Gravlex said settlements tend to get tipped off when there are people coming to steal tech, you do know that right? Jintosh. Said Sigma 19. Not really, that's that Savelation guy isn't it? Or that NMLA terrorist? I get confused. Gravlex said one way or another but I can say not by us for sure. Hans V. Voldampf said Jin. Sigma 19 is Aurelia. Now ringing a bell. Eradis, Sephirodon, said that's Aurelia Davidson. Sigma 19 it's some kind of call scene she uses with her organization. Prokaska said we won't be able to answer your question who tipped those settlements off. Jintosh. Said and yet Kendra has bugged this carrier before now. Do you really think that would be forgotten? Eradis, Sephirodon, said we don't know who they are, but she takes orders from someone who's not a Guardian AI.
Attention, a hyperspace jump has been
Kendra Shaw
scheduled.
said Aurelia
Please
want to
finish
put
any
Sharon in a
remaining
box.
tasks in this system prior to the carrier's departure.
Jintosh. Said Sharon believes her, I can do no more. Gravlex said are you sure about that Jin? Hans V. Voldampf said carrier is jumping. Get on board. Eradis, Sephirodon, said are you sure, Jintosh? Maybe you should stop talking to Aurelia and start talking to Sharon. Gravlex said when did you last talk to her? Gravlex said we can't Hans, it's locked down. Kendra Shaw said carrier is jumping. Gravlex said everyone, head to T's in GU. Hans V. Voldampf said damned, access denied. Gravlex said we can follow with my carrier. Jintosh. Said Osef, do you really think we do nothing at night? Asterisk blushes asterisk. Eradis, Sephirodon, said not that, Jin. I mean, talk about other things. The hard things. Not that you can't do the other two.
Attention.
Kendra Shaw said friends we are not able to do anything for now, let's head back to Newton.
Frameshift charge detected.
Hans V. Voldampf said we can follow the carrier. Prokaska said heading to T's in GU. Gravlex said my carrier jumps in 15. Hans V. Voldampf said, where is it? Gravlex said, T's in GU. Hans V. Voldampf said, oh. Eradis, Sephirodon,
Left
said, T's in
mass
GU,
lock. Ready
Irula
for
one of
Super
those,
Cruise.
perhaps. Sounds like Irula is the current destination.
Fire Group B selected. Main engine charging.
Charging.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said, I was about to say I could fly to Irula faster than going to your carrier. Then I remembered Lexi. But we could go in numbers. Gravlex said, yes, that didn't go well last time indeed. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, is there a point to bringing your carrier along?
FSD ready. Fuel scooping terminated.
Gravlex said, well, actually, is there a point following them at all? Kendrashaw said, what about Lexi? She wanted to talk to us at Nelson. DLLJS said, I'm home. Gravlex said, did she? Eradis, Sephirodon, said, possibly. There may be an opportunity to talk or observe. And maybe Sharon would be involved. She's supposed to be there, Jin said. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, oh. I didn't know anything about Lexi wanting to talk. I'd kind of like the opportunity to see if we can talk with Sharon, myself. I've already initiated a... Hans V. Voldampf said, docked. Gravlex said, yes, about that. What did you actually send her?
Cooldown
Lincoln
complete.
Charlie Alpha. Thank you for receiving your destination, Commander. Please follow docking procedures and enjoy your visit. Landing permitted. Prep for arrival on landing pad 18.
In mass lock.
Gravlex said so, I guess we are not going to Irula. Kendrashor said guys you wanted to jump to Irula. Prokaska said we can meet at Nelson or go to Irula, we just need a decision. Gravlex said I didn't know Lexi wanted to talk and suggested we follow Resurrection. Eradis, Sephirodon, said well, it started out just talking, but after we exchanged some questions, I decided she needed to know. If she's in danger, and Aurelia may be planning to dispose of her. Eradis, Sephirodon, said I'd like to go to Irula, yes. Hans V. Voldank said I vote for Irula. If we're wrong, it's no worse than sitting here.
Gear down, Commander.
Gravlex said I. Prokaska said Tart is true.
Touchdown confirmed. Dispatching ground crew.
Gravlex said and Seth, that explains why Jin knows about Kendra's butt.
Incoming message.
Gravlex said want me to cancel the jump, you have 4 minutes to board. Hans V. Voldank said hurry to catch the bus smiley face.
Ship released. Departure authorized.
Loading gear
Retracted gear.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said well, maybe. I didn't get the impression that Jin had had a conversation with Sharon since. At least. I'd hoped that if she had, she might be singing us slightly. Hans V.
Out
Voldank
of
said I
mass
have a
lock.
feeling we may have set the right destination winking face. DLLJS said hi, I have something to say. Eradis, Sephirodon, said you're really set on taking the carrier then.
Main engine charging.
charging.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said oh, sorry. Please, continue Lexi. DLLJS said I've been having these weird dreams lately. Gravlex said what sort of weird dreams? Hans V. Voldank said I have those each night. So what? Gravlex said Hans, come on man. Prokaska said not asterisk those asterisk dreams, Hans smiling face with open mouth and smiling eyes.
Alert
DLLJS said I have the feeling they may be important to me somehow. Hans V. Voldampf said 5 minutes. Everybody on board. DLLJS said maybe you could help me in deciphering them. Prokaska said I am, yes. Prokaska said we can try, Lexi. Gravlex said Kendra is not here. Eradis, Sephirodon, said you still never answered me, but I guess it's not really high on your list. DLLJS said so first one I had was about a malfunction, traveling station that ended up in a purple nebula. DLLJS said then I had this nightmare about being pulled into this supermassive black hole. Gravlex said, my game died.
FSD cooldown complete.
Attention, this carrier has scheduled a hyperspace jump. Please conclude any remaining business in this system prior to departure.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said sounds like history. Yox station. The first one. Don't know on the second. DLLJS said finally, I dreamed about the furthest point in the galaxy. Kendra Shaw said too late confused face. Gravlex said Beagle Point. Eradis, Sephirodon, said let's just meet in Irula, HM. I promise not to do anything too stupid. Prokaska said supermassive black hole, like Sagittarius or asterisk.
Attention. Counting down to jump. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
DLLJS said Jack's station, Sagittarius or asterisk and Beagle Point, hub. Gravlex said be careful Seth. Hans V. Voldampf said a supermassive black hole is where the Cylon Resurrection hub was parked before the final battle. We have quite a bit of Battlestar Galactica leaking in here, so why not? Eradis, Sephirodon, said I'll try not to do anything more dangerous than scooping fuel in this thing. DLLJS replied to DLLJS, I'll think on that. Eradis, Sephirodon, said so. I've never heard about that resurrection hub thing, but it may fit.
If you want to do something worthwhile, then I've got a job for you.
Hans V. Voldamp said the resurrection is here, our guess was spot on, smiley face. Sharon Valerie, I said the colony, you heard of it.
So put your faith in us.
If you've got the time to lend a hand, I'll pay you for it.
We'll keep you breathing. Remlock, above all, survive.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said Sharon. Hello. Colony. Eradis, Sephirodon, said I haven't heard of it. Until now, I mean. Gravlex said neither have I. Hans V. Voldamp said Sharon. Good to hear you. Sharon Valerie, I said it's hidden, near the Siderian Wall sector.
Do you want an overpriced bauble that breaks the first time you drop it? Or do you want a tough, hard-wearing device that can take whatever life throws at it? Herculean Machines makes the most robust personal computing devices on the market. Herculean Machines. Function first.
We would like to extend a warm welcome to all recent arrivals and to wish those with you a safe journey.
Sharon Valerie, I said, unreachable.
Achilles Corporation.
Hello Hans, hello friends. Gravlex said the system is in civil war.
The galaxy can be a dangerous place. Choose the fertile lands and meet danger.
Sharon Valerie, I said Gravlex, that's why I'm here. Eradis, Sephirodon, said is there a reason that colony should be significant to us, at this point in time? Gravlex said Sharon, you know Aurelia is responsible of this. Hans V. Voldamp said Sharon, how are you? Being yourself at this time.
I could really do with your help if you have the time.
The galaxy can be a dangerous place. When you dive into the black, you want to know your ship can handle the worst the galaxy has to offer. You want power, precision, control. With the fertile lands, these features come as standard. So choose the fertile lands and meet danger head on.
Sharon Valerie, I said not sure. But Sepha's messages make me thinking. Hans V. Voldampf said resurrection is void, no one here. Sharon Valerie, I said I'm at Anderson.
If you've got the time to lend a hand, I'll pay you for it.
Hans V. Voldampf said Omega to meet you.
The Thargoids are an ever-present threat. Pilots are reminded to exercise caution when traveling, and to remain vigilant at all times.
Your people need you. Be the last line of defense. Sign up and fight.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said best behavior, Hans.
It don't matter how you like your bourbon. Just make sure it's empty bourbon.
Sharon Valerie, I said no weapons at Anderson. Hans winking face.
We would like to extend a warm welcome to all recent arrivals, and to wish those leaving a safe journey.
Hans V. Voldampf said like mini rail guns. Don't tell me about weapons in bars.
Thank you for choosing Apex Interstellar Transport.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said mini rail guns. I guess I missed that.
We know that a starport is more than just a place to refuel. For many, it's home. That's why the Brewer Corporation is the only name in starport manufacture.
Hans V. Voldampf said that was before your time with us, smiley face.
Our motto has been Starport, safer than the surface. The Brewer Corporation.
Sharon Valerie, I said oh I've lost this very special weapon at a certain Guardian structure. Winking face.
And to wish those leaving a safe journey.
Gravlex said such a shame. Hans V. Voldampf said ISD be surprised if you had not replaced it. Winking face.
This port is monitored by members of OPIC. Any breach of this rule will be dealt with immediately.
Gravlex said new haircut. Sharon Valerie, I said like my love.
The Thargoids represent a clear and present danger to humanity. Be vigilant, be prepared, and be ready to do your part.
Gravlex said I see.
Thank you for choosing
Gravlex said good to see you.
Manticore, finish the fight.
Hans V. Voldampf said what, you have replaced your love. Jin will be interested to hear that, rolling on the floor laughing. Eradis, Sephirodon, said now behave yourselves. Don't get everyone in a huff and stomp off before I even get there.
Port authorities accept no responsibility.
Gravlex said no Hans, she has the same hair as Jin. Sharon Valerie I said oh another one of the gang.
Kinematic armaments, conquer all living natural.
Prokaska said hello, Miss Valor too. Gravlex said Hans.
Zorka Peterson, where finesse follows function.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said seriously. Trying to interdict an Imperial courier. Even if it worked, what would you get out of it? Sharon Valerie I said grins. Hans. Bah, smiles.
Taking care of our customers has always been our #1 concern. That's why the Bank of Scions has been the galaxy's favorite bank for over 600
Gravlex said Sharon, where is Jin?
Bank of Scions.
Sharon Valerie I said nothing changed winking face. Hans V. Voldampf said I liked your former haircut better, face with tongue sticking out.
We would like to extend a warm welcome to all recent arrivals and to wish those leaving a safe journey.
Takada, harmonious by design.
Sharon Valerie I said my love is on her own way to solve a problem.
Supratech, innovation in everything.
Gravlex said yes, the problem was us I think. Gravlex said we did have an encounter.
Clear and present danger to humanity.
Takada, harmonious by design.
Be prepared and be ready to do your part.
Gravlex said we followed the resurrection here. Hans V. Voldampf said whatever. Sharon, it is heartwarming to see you alive and well, apparently.
Lucian tree grubs. Lucian tree grubs. They're grubbling good.
The galaxy can be a dangerous place. Choose the fertile lands and meet danger head on.
Acts of aggression in this port will not be tolerated and may elicit a response from Omnipol officers.
Kinematic armaments, conquer
Sharon Valerie I said Hans I did not expected those words from you.
Falcon to Lacey.
Hans V. Voldampf said nor did I, but it is what it is. Sharon Valerie I said is Kendra also here?
The Achilles Corporation.
If you intend to travel today, ask yourself, are you prepared for the possibility of a Thargoid attack? The enemy can strike anytime, anywhere. Stay vigilant.
Hans V. Voldampf said I think she missed the bus but should be on her way. Gravlex said Kendra stayed together with Lexi at T's in GU I think.
Frontline Solutions about how you can join the battles.
Sharon Valerie I said hello Seth.
This star system. We've got the means. Have you got the metal?
Eradis, Sephirodon, said I'd offer a hug, but I don't know if you're up to that.
We would like to extend a warm welcome to all recent arrivals and to wish those leaving a safe journey.
Sharon Valerie I said thank you for your eye-opening messages. Gravlex said watch out for the shoulder spikes. Hans V. Voldamp said I would if I knew how it's done grinning face with smiling eyes smiling face.
We would like to extend a warm welcome to all recent arrivals and to wish those leaving a safe journey.
Thank you for choosing Apex Interstellar Transport.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said you're quite welcome. I just hope you see that we're not your enemies. And Aurelia is not your friend. Jin seems rather confused on those points. Sharon Valerie I said the whole gang, I'm impressed.
Because you already know that. The Achilles Corporation. Optimize, iterate, refine.
Gravlex said yes, she was blaming us for settlements turning on you.
Will not be tolerated and may elicit a response from Omnipol officers.
Falcon to Lacey, bridging the stars for half a millennium.
Hans V. Voldamp said I hope you see who your friends are. And who is not, side glance at Aurelia. Sharon Valerie I said Aurelia, I have a suspicion. Gravlex said what is it?
Living naturally.
Prokaska said which one?
We would like to extend a warm welcome to all recent arrivals and to wish those leaving a safe journey.
Sharon Valerie I said I'm not able to contact the AI anymore.
Need to get 300 tons of cargo to the far side of the galaxy? The Type 9 Heavy can do it. Want to protect your valuable cargo from ruthless privateers? With a fighter bay equipped, the Type 9 Heavy can do it. So
Eradis,
remember what
Sephirodon,
you're calling,
said,
or
is
where
Hans
you're
looking
headed.
at Aurelia.
The Type 9 Heavy
When I said
can
that,
take
was
you
she
on.
standing behind me? Gravlex said Kendra mentioned same to Jin, said she wasn't connected. Sharon Valerie I said, directly. Hans V. Voldamp said they are fiddling with your connection to gain control of you.
Extend a warm welcome to all recent arrivals and to wish those leaving a safe journey.
Sound Crook, the finest for the best.
Sharon Valerie I said I had to re-establish the link.
Navian brandy is the connoisseur's choice.
Hans V. Voldamp said it seems to work, more or less. I do hope we can break their plans. Eradis, Sephirodon, said yes, I don't know how, but it seems like Aurelia has taken control of your network connections.
And may elicit a response from Omnipol officers.
The Sirius Corporation, powering the galaxy.
Set sail upon an ocean of stars, Parna's silver sea rumble.
Sharon Valerie I said. Jin's artifact. Gravlex said Sharon, you don't need the AI, and certainly not Aurelia. Hans V. Voldampf said, what do you think would happen if you were closer to a Guardian site? Sharon Valerie, I said reconnection, Hans. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, I have to say, I'm not entirely convinced to trust your AI either. But I'm willing to talk, to try to understand.
Zorgon Peterson.
Hans V. Voldampf said, I mean, let's be realistic. She does have that remote control interface thingy, and I am at the point to say, rather the Guardians than Sigma 19. Sharon Valerie, I said, but anyway. Aurelia tries to cut my emotional connections to these people, they are close to me. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, I'd originally thought that was the AI doing that. Perhaps that was mistaken. Sharon Valerie, I said, and my home, here.
In a fast-paced galaxy, it can be hard to
Gravlex
find
said,
time
Aurelia
for
manipulated you,
nutritious
turned you into a tool if you will for her ill intents. She made you think we, your friends, are the enemy. Sharon Valerie, I said, if you are right.
So we know
I
how
have to
get
find
healthy,
evidences.
delicious meals onto your table with a minimum of fuss. The Rockforth Corporation. Living naturally.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said, well, you've got all we have, that I'm aware of. In terms of evidence against Aurelia so far. Hans V. Voldampf said, one of the evidences is, we are here to begin with smiley face. Prokaska said, what else do you need? Eradis, Sephirodon, said, and yes, Hans is right. Actions do count, don't they? Sharon Valerie, I said, but I have to rescue my love. Hans V. Voldampf said, and we did not bring hidden weapons. Face with tongue sticking out. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, I couldn't agree more.
Cask aged for over 100 years. The taste of Lavian brandy is the taste of tradition. That's why those who know choose Lavian brandy.
Gravlex said, yes, maybe she will listen to you. She didn't listen to us at all. Sharon Valerie, I said you talked to her.
The Type 9 Heavy can take the world.
Prokaska said we tried to. Gravlex said yes. As I told earlier, she came to us, we were the problem. Hans V. Voldampf replied to Sharon Valerie, that may turn out difficult, she seems to put up less resistance than you do. But we are here to try a common effort.
A wide range of services is available at this port. Please check the town halls for further information.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said a bit. We both arrived at what was that system. Moon 10B is all I remember now.
For 60 years,
Too much chaos.
Kinematic Armaments has been giving private citizens and security forces the tools they need to get the job done.
Sharon Valerie, I
So
said
whenever
what
the
have my
galaxy
nice
throws
done.
at you, with
Hans V.
Kinematic at your
Voldampf
side,
said Nukunda.
you're ready for anything. Kinematic Armaments. Conquer all.
Gravlex said she threatened us not to interfere. Eradis, Sephirodon, said your niece. I thought we talking about Jintosh.
Sound critical, the finest. Finish the fast.
Gravlex said we didn't harm Jin, she was safe and aboard the Resurrection.
Rockforth Corporation. Living naturally.
Sharon Valerie, I said near T's in GU. The Thean Awakening. Oh my god.
We would like to extend a warm welcome to all recent arrivals and to wish those in flight a safe journey.
Takada has been in business for over 8 years, but the philosophy that guided our first steps still guides us now. Every Takada
Sharon
product
Valerie, I said did she got any data from there?
specifications. So when you buy from us, you can be sure you're in good hands. Takada.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said it seems that Aurelia is trying to collect all of his pieces for some reason.
We would like to extend a warm welcome
Hans V. Voldampf said how does Theon get in here? I think he is in pieces scattered over half the galaxy. Eradis, Sephirodon, said it's hard to tell. If there was actually an item to be found, she must have found it, because we didn't. Gravlex said indeed. Sharon Valerie, I said Antal, T's in GU, Carcosa. Hans V. Voldampf said well she asterisk said asterisk she found some date in the ship's core. We have no evidence though.
The galaxy can be a dangerous place. When you dive into the black, you want to know your ship can handle the worst the galaxy has to
Gravlex said
offer.
well, thankfully Colonia is quite far away.
Precision. Control.
Sharon Valerie, I said if somebody get all the pieces together, it might be a catastrophe.
So choose the fertile lands and meet danger head on.
Prokaska said what can someone do with all the Thean pieces?
Finish the fight.
In the interest of facilitating the flow of pedestrian traffic, visitors are reminded not to loiter in the thoroughfares.
Hans V. Voldampf said put them together with glue. Sharon Valerie, I said the pieces, the device, oh.
We would like to extend a warm welcome to all recent arrivals and to wish those
Eradis, Sephirodon, said Kendra recovered that data from the ship's core too, yes. She said it was encrypted. We haven't had a chance to look at that yet.
We could try and win you over with promotional offers. We could try to undercut our competitors. But at South Kruger, we believe you get what you pay for. And if you want first-class comfort, unrivaled luxury, and effortless style, you need look no further than the Beluga liner. South Kruger. Fly the best.
Sharon Valerie, I said if Aurelia does not have the data we are safe for the moment. Hans V. Voldampf, said Sharon, try to be more clear. What are you thinking of?
we would like to extend a warm welcome to all recent arrivals and to wish those leaving a safe journey.
Karasuki locusts, they've got bite.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said something along the lines of Salvation's superweapon. Gravlex said don't think so.
To extend a warm welcome to all recent arrivals and to wish those leaving a safe journey.
Sharon Valerie, I said Aurelia or someone behind her is searching for blueprints, masses of soldiers with AI minds.
Formidable combat vessel. An exploration ship that can go the distance.
Sharon Valerie, I said connected as one unit.
Different ships. I'm talking about the Cobra Mark III, the most versatile vessel on the market. So, the question ain't whether the Cobra can meet your needs. The question is, why aren't you already flying with it?
Eradis, Sephirodon, said Millimeter. A hive mind android army then. Hans V. Voldampf said a clone army. Like, in Star Wars. That was a silly tale from ancient Earth. Gravlex said that doesn't sound good.
No matter what brings you here or how long you intend to stay, you are welcome. Finish the fight.
Sharon Valerie, I said more AI, human hybrids.
Thank you for choosing Apex Interstellar Transport. Founded in 3222, Apex Interstellar Transport is the largest shuttle company in civilized space. With
Eradis, Sephirodon, said kind of similar to yourself then. Hans V. Voldampf said HM that does not sound good.
We would like to extend a warm welcome to all recent arrivals and to wish those leaving a safe
Hans V. Voldampf said by the way, how do you know what Sigma 19 is after? Prokaska said she gets that by putting together the Theon pieces. Sharon Valerie, I said yes Seth, like me but easier to control. Sharon Valerie, I said Sigma 19. Hans V. Voldamp said Aurelia equals Sigma 19.
We would like to extend a warm welcome to all recent arrivals and to wish those leaving a safe journey.
Takada, harmonious by design.
The agile Sidewinder. The formidable Anaconda. The legendary Cobra. No matter what kind of ship you're looking for,
Eradis, Sephirodon, said no, it doesn't sound good at all. She's already shown herself or her organization both, I guess willing to use and dispose of people like tools. An army of Sharon Valerie. I said Zoe, Theon was the first android who was able to transfer his mind into a human body.
Port authorities accept no responsibility for any damage to personal property.
Innovation in every trust.
Prokaska said okay, that is understood. Eradis, Sephirodon, said transfer his mind. That. I'm guessing that was not good to the human who used to live there.
The use of personal weapons in this port is strictly forbidden.
Sharon Valerie. I said together with my resurrection device someone will be able to grow thousands of them. Hans V. Voldamp said asterisk an army of mind-controlled hybrids would be very bad. Asterisk. Perhaps they would at least make more challenging opponents than the usual NPC's grinning face with smiling eyes.
That only Manticore can deliver. Manticore, finish the fight.
Prokaska said what is an NPC?
The galaxy can be a dangerous place. Choose the fertile lands and meet danger head on.
Visitors are reminded to observe health and safety protocols.
Sounding. Unmistakably for the best. Sounding.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said no offense, but I'd really suggest considering dismantling that device at this point. I think Aurelia has likely tampered with it, just a bit. Sharon Valerie. I said Seth, this one was Tyranander, he is still alive.
Powering the galaxy.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said Turan was the human that Theon melded with.
No matter what brings you to this port or how long you intend to stay, we welcome you.
Close your eyes. Can you picture it? A brilliant star cresting the horizon. A golden sunrise illuminating a brighter tomorrow. We believe that what lies ahead can be better than what has gone before. And we believe we can get you there.
Hans V. Voldamp said why would an android with a perfect mechanical body wish to take control of a human body? Makes no sense to me. Sharon Valerie. I said he has Hecadited himself, the Utopians gave him his memories back.
Are you a seasoned combat pilot? Ask yourself, could you be doing more?
Sharon Valerie. I said Hans, feelings.
Independent combat pilots are humanity's best defense against the Thargoid.
Above all, survive.
Gravlex said are overrated.
The Titanite Heavy can take the load.
We would like to extend a warm welcome to all recent arrivals and to wish those leaving a safe journey.
Prokaska said not by those that don't have them, Gravlex. Hans V. Voldamp said okay, let's give them the feeling of being blown to pieces then. Eradis, Sephirodon, said but you have feelings. You didn't take over any humans to get them, did you?
The Thargoids represent a very unpleasant danger to humanity.
Sharon Valerie, I said an AI that will be able to feel, is dangerous, like me sometimes. Gravlex said you are not dangerous because of your feelings.
Port authorities accept no responsibility for any damage to personal property.
Prokaska said I was told AIS are dangerous per SE, with or without feelings. Sharon Valerie, I said I have a bug winking face. Eradis, Sephirodon, said home. You realize that many of the arguments made against the creation of AIS are more along the lines that a completely logical intelligence, without feelings, is. Hans V. Voldamp said I'm not entirely sure if an AI that does *** not *** feel feelings is not even more dangerous. Eradis, Sephirodon, said. Gravlex said Hans is absolutely correct. Sharon Valerie, I said it will be more unexpectable. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, feels a little eerie to be in agreement with Hans so much. Prokaska said depends on the kind of feelings, smiling face with open mouth and smiling eyes. Hans V. Voldamp said better not make them angry. Eradis, Sephirodon, said the problem is, logic without compassion could lead to some very radical conclusions. Sharon Valerie, I said Zoe, you have fight against AI, you know why it is forbidden.
Unmistakably, Santi.
We would like to extend a warm welcome to all recent arrivals and to wish those leaving a safe journey.
Hans V. Voldamp replied to Eradis, Sephirodon, as would hatred and revenge with no logic. Two sides of one coin. Eradis, Sephirodon, said indeed.
Visitors are politely reminded not to loiter in the thoroughfares. We thank you for your cooperation.
Sharon Valerie, I said the DNA was part of an human Quarian hybrid experiment, started by humanity.
It can only be any Nar coffee. Don't drink just any coffee. Drink any Nar coffee.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said Ah. Azimuth was not alone, it seems. So much that's been hidden away. Hans V. Voldampf said ooh. If humans are behind it, that **** is **** dangerous.
We would like to extend a warm welcome to all recent arrivals and to wish those leaving a safe journey.
The Beluga Line Takada. Harmonious by design.
At Remlock,
Gravlex said agreed, we all know what happens when humans meddle with technology beyond our understanding.
about safety, so put your faith in us.
Sharon Valerie I said Guardian AI clones would be a perfect AXI weapon, or assassins.
Remlock, above all, survive.
Visitors are politely reminded not to loiter in the thoroughfares. We thank you for your cooperation.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said, which is not to imply that Azimuth and the Thean people were working together, mind. Just two human projects trying to utilize alien tech, likely in Reckless.
The galaxy can be a dangerous place. Choose the fertile lands and meet danger head on.
Choose Lavian Brandy.
Hans V. Voldampf said alright. Sharon, can you tell us what your present status is in terms of remote control? You are talking to us like you are your true self at this time. Which is, if I may. Eradis, Sephirodon, said I'm all for researching new technologies and learning. But responsible research. Not what they did.
Herculean Machines makes the most robust personal computing devices on the market. Herculean Machines. Function first.
Gravlex said yes, Jin was saying earlier is her voice. You don't seem like she was. Sharon Valerie I said my remote status is currently suspended. Not more as a human.
Kinematic armaments. Conquer all. Falcon Delacians, bridging the stars.
Prokaska replied to Sharon Valerie I there is no need to remind me of that, Sharon.
Are you prepared for the possibility of a Thargoid attack? The enemy can strike anytime, anywhere.
Remlock,
Stay
above
vigilant.
all, survive.
Hans V. Voldampf said means the connection is on some kind of standby. Sharon Valerie I said earlier is the Guardian's voice. Did she said that?
Better, fresher, clearer, sounding.
Sharon Valerie I said.
Unmistakably sounding.
Sirius Corporation. Powering the galaxy.
We would like to extend a warm welcome.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said I think you're mixing it up. Jintosh said, Aurelia is our voice. Referring, it seemed, to herself and you. Prokaska said I thought that is more likely to be you, Sharon. Gravlex said yes, indeed. Eradis, Sephirodon, said I'm afraid Jin seems pretty far under Aurelia's control. I guessed that might be the case, as I wrote to you in my first letter.
The richest aroma. It can only be.
Command Commander.
Don't drink just any coffee. Drink any Na coffee.
We would like to extend a warm welcome.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said you've got a lot more experience keeping your mind discreet, maintaining your identity. Jin's never had to deal with that kind of threat. Sharon Valerie, I said I read your messages carefully.
The Thalmors are an ever-present threat. Pilots are reminded to exercise caution when traveling.
Hans V. Voldampf said how about this folks? Assume that mind control thingy has limited bandwidth as any technical item. At this time, it is focused on Jin so Sharon is free. Makes sense. Eradis, Sephirodon, said at least, those are my conclusions. I don't mean to presume I know your mind, Sharon.
Or that our operating systems offer unrivaled accessibility. Because you already know that. The Achilles Corporation. Optimize, iterate, refine.
Gravlex said I have no idea myself Hans.
We would like to extend a warm welcome to all recent arrivals and to wish those leaving a safe journey.
Here's to the future. Indie bourbon.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said Millimeter, I wouldn't make the assumption that it can only handle one target at a time. I have no idea, really, but that seems a bad way to go. Prepare for the worst, not the... Sharon Valerie, I said no Hans, it's unlimited in a 150 Li bubble.
Taking care of our customers has always been our number
Eradis, Sephirodon, said well, there's your limit then.
been the galaxy's favorite bank for over 600 years.
Gravlex said is it tied to the resurrection?
Trust.
Hans V. Voldampf said okay, then what if we drag you on a carrier and take you far enough away?
We would like to extend a warm welcome to all recent arrivals and to wish those leaving a safe journey.
Lavian brandy is the connoisseur's choice. Those who know choose Lavian brandy. The Brewer Corporation.
We would like to extend a warm welcome to all recent arrivals and to wish those leaving a safe journey.
Survive.
Sharon Valerie, I said currently it's the only existing device, but with all blueprints, it could be re-engineered.
We could try and win you over with promotional offers. We could try to You want first-class comfort.
Hans V. Voldamp said you would be safe for the time being, however.
You need look no further than the Beluga liner. Sound Kruger. Fly the best.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said, do you have any idea how many pieces the blueprints are in? How close Aurelia is to a set? Sharon Valerie, I said. Hans, I know. Not the best hand for carriers, winking face. Gravlex said, so you were free when Jin was there with us. Now the resurrection is here, how are you free of its influence? Eradis, Sephirodon, said, you do seem to be a bit cursed when it comes to fleet carriers. Sharon Valerie, I said. Grav, I'm strong. Hans V. Voldamp said, I say. Focused on getting Jin under control.
We know that a starport is more than just a place
Gravlex
to
said, as I suspected.
For many, it's home. That's why the Brewer Corporation is the only name in starport manufacture. And that's why, for over
Sharon Valerie, I said.
years, our motto has been, starports safer than the surface. The Brewer Corporation. Living naturally.
No matter what brings you here, or how long you intend to stay, you are welcome at this port. The Cobra Mark III.
Supratech. Innovation in everything.
Hans V. Voldamp said, one of us happens to have a guaranteed carrier right here, looks over to Gravlex, hash.
Frontline Solutions specializes in getting combatants what they need. Grab your gun.
Jintosh. Said Sharon, my love, I'm back. What are they doing here? Quickly, we must leave for the carrier, it's not safe here anymore. Sharon Valerie, I said. Brewer Desing. Gravlex said, I did buy it off Yarks. Eradis, Sephirodon, said Jin, wait.
An exploration ship that can go the distance. No, I'm not describing 3 different ships. I'm talking about the
Gravlex said, well, that was fast. Sharon Valerie, I said. Engine, wait. Hans V. Voldamp said. Sharon. Stay with us. DLLJS said, hey, what's happening? Eradis, Sephirodon, said, damn. She's really flighty. I guess it's Aurelia's influence. Sharon Valerie, I said. Jin, we have to talk. Sharon Valerie, I said. Stay here.
Landing gear up.
Ship released. Departure authorized.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said Lexi. Where are you? Sharon Valerie, I said. Jin. DLLJS said, in Kendra's ship. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, things are relatively well with Sharon, not so much with Jintosh. That's the short summary. Jintosh said, we can't, I have to get you to safety. DLLJS said that sounds good. DLLJS replied to Eradis, Sephirodon, that sounds good.
Please fly safely, Commander.
Left mass lock.
Sharon Valerie, I said not to the carrier, my love, please go to Irila 7 AM. Jintosh said why? But if you wish.
FSD charging.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said to Lexi, well, at least partly good. How to save Jintosh from Aurelia's influence is still a problem. Are you feeling alright, I hope? Sharon Valerie, I said we have to stay away from Aurelia. DLLJS replied to Eradis, Sephirodon, so I'm guessing Sharon's not under Aurelia's influence. Sharon Valerie, I said Lexi, I'm able to fight against it. DLLJS said nice. Hans V. Voldampf said damned, she jumped away. Could not masslock her forever. Eradis, Sephirodon, replied to DLLJS, she's holding her own, at the moment. Though I've no idea what sort of power Aurelia has if she really focuses on an individual with whatever this tech is. Gravlex said heading towards resurrection. Sharon Valerie, I said not Jin. No. Sharon Valerie, I said you betrayed me. Gravlex said hands interdict them. Eradis, Sephirodon, said Sharon. What's happening? Jintosh said no, we're going to 7 AM, like you asked. Sharon Valerie, I said you are heading to resurrection. Hans V. Voldampf said lost contact. Eradis, Sephirodon, said Aurelia must be scrambling her mind. Making her think she's going where she's not. Jintosh. Said no, that's the Polonnet in front. Sharon Valerie I said stop it no. My love, please. Gravlex said I'm at resurrection. Gravlex said I'll block their path.
Clearance granted. Move directly to your allocated path.
Mass lock. FSD not available.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said it seemed kind of like that when the two of you went to the resurrection to assimilate Jintosh, you know.
Deploy gear.
Eradis, Sephirodon, said makes sense now. I remember Sharon saying she was going to main arsenal, as they beeline for the carrier.
Please observe the minimum safe distance at all times, Commander.
Sharon Valerie I said Jin you will kill us.
Landing successful. Clear to disembark. Welcome, Commander.
Gravlex said, static. Hans V. Voldampf said the carrier was firing at something. No one here. Jintosh. Said, mind map activated, Gravlex, come back to us. DLLJS said Gravlex. Eradis, Sephirodon, said oh no. She got Grav. Hans V. Voldampf said oh wait, signal is delayed. Jin is on the carrier. Eradis, Sephirodon, said where is Evron? Sharon Valerie I said Jin. What have you done? Eradis, Sephirodon, said, think I'm der instanced dot. Prokaska said, I'm at resurrection with Jintosh. Jintosh said only what you asked, my love. I have brought you to safety, to be with me. Sharon Valerie, I said I will kill Aurelia for that. DLLJS replied to Prokaska, did you manage to dock? Gravlex said, well, trying to mind control unconscious people floating away in an escape pod never really works now, does it? Tongue poking smiley. Hans V. Voldamp replied to Sharon Valerie, I get her out here in a spacecraft, and I will gladly do this for you. Prokaska replied to DLLJS, haven't tried to. Prokaska said, don't get permission to dock. Hans V. Voldamp said, carrier denies all docking requests. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, I've been hesitating to dock. Just hovering for the moment. I don't know if I could do anything, other than maybe make myself available for assimilation by Aurelia. DLLJS said, home, still on lockdown. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, I find myself devoid of any reasonable arguments against killing Aurelia. Prokaska said, we just need to get at her now. Hans V. Voldamp said, wish we get the opportunity. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, well, maybe we could get her to talk. Okay, so there's one. Hans V. Voldamp said, carrier says it is departing for Irola. Sharon Valerie, I said, Jin. No. Set me free. Prokaska said, Irola 7 AM. Sharon Valerie, I said, oh Aurelia. Jintosh said, you are asterisk free, my love, why do you say you're not? Eradis, Sephirodon, said Jintosh. What are you doing? Eradis, Sephirodon, said, damn it. I knew I should have brought a probe. Eradis, Sephirodon, said or free. Jintosh. Said my love is safe with me. Eradis, Sephirodon, said no, Jintosh, she really isn't. And you are not either. Hans V. Voldamp said what is at 7 a.m. Sharon Valerie I said slumps unconscious. DLLJS replied to Prokaska Irila 7 am has a planetary outpost called Rondialamber Outpost and 3 Odyssey settlements. Eradis, Sephirodon, said you are both in grave danger anywhere near Aurelia Davidson. Prokaska replied to Hans V. Voldamp the carrier is about to jump there. Hans V. Voldamp said I know, was wondering why. Jintosh. Said Sharon asked to go there, I will not refuse her. Eradis, Sephirodon, said sure, going there is fine. But why do you people always insist on going everywhere in these bloody carriers? It's just over there. Prokaska said but in the carrier, Jin. And why is she unconsecuous now? DLLJS replied to Eradis, Sephirodon, waste of tritium, much. Eradis, Sephirodon, said yes, I'm sure a micro-hop like that must be terribly inefficient. Hans V. Voldamp said I think we have more urgent worries than fuel efficiency. Eradis, Sephirodon, said I. It was just an observation. Jintosh. Said we need the sleep, it has been a long day. Prokaska said are you serious, Jin? Hans V. Voldamp said I'm at 7 am. But nothing useful I can do when they arrive. Man shrugging. Eradis, Sephirodon, said usually when you're sleepy and you're with your spouse, you might do some of those other things you'd hinted at earlier. Not knock her out. Kendrashore said what's going on at Irila? Eradis, Sephirodon, said Kendra. We were able to talk to Sharon and she was pretty much back to herself. Broke free of Aurelia's hold. But Jin's deep in her hold and now Jin took Sharon too. Jintosh. Said never you mind Kendra. Sharon is safe. And no, I did not knock her out, she sleeps. Eradis, Sephirodon, said so Aurelia knocked her out. Prokaska said, are you serious that we actually believe that, Jin? Eradis, Sephirodon, said remember, Jin's perceptions are possibly lying to her. I think that's how Aurelia takes control. Prokaska said she keeps annoying me. Hans V. Voldampf said I still see the resurrection in her old position. Could it be the jump has been cancelled? Eradis, Sephirodon, said it is pretty annoying, when someone you care about and know is a reasonable person can't actually use her mind and reasoning. Just keeps parroting the same stuff. Jintosh said, thank you all very much for an amazing evening. Time to close up for the night I think. Hans V. Voldampf said cliffhanger. Eradis, Sephirodon, said, that poor guy Cliff.